production spawning up here in the top position, representing the Dragon in Alpha X. He is RAGNAROK. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he's spawning in for a freak of freaks. He is ARMANI. So it looks like we're going to be starting things off a little bit differently from both sides here. RAGNAROK going to go for a little bit of an earlier hatchery, just by a couple of seconds there. We saw that he did cut worker production for literally a nanosecond. So not too much variation in the build orders right now, as these guys just going to be powering up in this first game, I feel. Just trying to get kind of that view of where their opponent is sitting in this series. Remember, this is a best of 5. It's not just a best of 3. You have a little bit of that buffer when it comes to what you can do. So you just have to be careful not to lose this first game. But if you do, you still have a chance before match point is really set there. The Overlord's kind of just chilling out as well. That's going to be really important for that information. And actually, here we go. RAGNAROK going to be a little bit more aggressive, as he's got that Evo chamber popping down. So this could be either for carapace or melee damage. Either one's going to be pretty darn good. Basically, what the carapace will let you do is it'll let you tank some baneling shots. It'll also kind of make your guys a little bit more beefier versus the queens. But melee damage just gonna make your units absolutely shred. Now, ARMANI has no idea this is coming, so he's gonna be throwing down his own third base location. And oh my goodness, this has the potential to do a lot of damage. Although right now, RAGNAROK not actually getting Ling's speed. Kind of interesting here. Maybe Roach's going to be coming down here pretty soon? Yeah, there we go. You know, it's kind of weird to see that kind of outline here when you're using these skins, because you do see the kind of you see those excuse me, I'm losing my voice here already, but you see those tubes and stuff running through it. It looks really artificial, really kind of funny to see there. All right, so ARMANI's gonna be the first, gonna go for that first strike, but RAGNAROK does have full vision of this once again, so he can just toss a queen in the wall, and that carapace upgrade is going to do wonders for kind of defending this as it pops. And it looks like RAGNAROK's actually going to just add on 22 additional Lings, either for just the defense, or he's going to be going for more aggression himself. And actually, he will have speed with this, which is very good. A little bit later on that third hatchery, but again, not really that many differences here. But yeah, with the addition of that carapace, once speed finishes, we should be seeing RAGNAROK just hop across the map and try and win it from here. This is just way too many. He's delayed his economy for too long here, so he's on a bit of a timer, though, with that Spire coming down, as he only has that Ro4 to help him out. And there you have it. That's really the power of that carapace. It's keeping those Lings alive from the banelings a little bit longer, so it's going to give RAGNAROK a little bit more staying power. Yeah, ARMANI's just in the perfect position right now. It's kind of man versus machine here. Or a bug versus machine, rather. as yeah, a couple more good baneling connections going to shut that down. And a little bit of a scout going to be coming out as well. Keep in mind, Ragnarok has gone for the roaches, so he's going to be getting those upgrades. Armani has seen pretty much everything, and again, Ragnarok's still just not able to get in here and get those surrounds, get that damage that he needs done. So the timer has pretty much run out, as the Mutalisk's going to be popping here pretty darn soon. Bug versus armored bug. There you go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, now Ragnarok, I don't want to say that he has to play it a little bit more defensively, because he doesn't. But, you know, he does have to pop out those additional queens. He needs to get on top of getting those overlords back, lest they be taken down. So he's going to lose a lot of that map vision. He's going to have to rely on that creep a little bit more to see what's coming his way. And, I mean, he still does have some options here. Remember, he does have Carapace, so he can go across the map. He can kind of tank those shots a little bit. But, I mean, this is really devastating, actually, as he's going to be pretty heavily supply blocked here for a little bit. And this gives Armani that small window to kind of push his way forward. Now you do have to be very careful here, as that Mutaball is not the biggest just yet, so you can't really engage too effectively. But the Queen's a little bit out of position, so the Ling's going to just jump right on top of them with those +1 upgrades. One Queen will fall, a second will join him. And although he pushes it back on the ground, the Muta's going to just dive right on top of the Spore Crawlers here, and the rest will be canceled. So Armani just given so much room to play around with. We do see Ragnarok kind of struggling for a defense, as he's going straight for the Infestation Pit, trying to get, I guess, those Infestors up. But all of these Queens starting to fall, and he's trying to get the Overlords as well. So yeah, Armani just really powering his way through, and that is going to be it for game number 1. I mean, he made that look easy, which is pretty funny there. Again, he got that. Sushi, you can't show favoritism here. I know our boy Ragnarok had a little bit of a harsh start, but I mean, Armani played it very well. He essentially ran out the timer for those roaches very quickly. Looks like he declined the yeah, may the best bug win. At the end of the day, can we also get some raid? The winner gets a big helping of raid. And I'm not talking about Shadow Legends here, because they surprisingly have not sponsored us yet. They literally sponsor everything. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was surprised why they hadn't yet. 2 months ago, that makes more sense. It's funny because I watched this one channel. Dude makes steaks all day, and even he got a sponsorship by them, and I was just surprised about that, because I mean, when you think of a steak, you don't really think of Raid Shadow. But anyway, let's introduce the players. Spawning up here in the top for the Dragon and Alpha X, going for a 12 pool. He is RAGNAROK. And his opponent down here in the bottom, also with the 12 pool, he is Africa Freaks ARMANI. Okay. So again, we have this mirrored build situation. This time a lot more aggressive. Now, I don't really think they're going to go too overboard with this. I think we're going to see that first initial 6 lings kind of prance their way across the map. Maybe go a little bit harder on it, but in the end, I do think these guys are just going to back off. Looks like, yeah, both of them are going to throw down that second hatch and kind of just try and transition out of it. You know, this is still pretty committed. You do slow down your economy quite heavily for this. And it looks like both sides are going to try and hide this the best they can. We'll have to see how successful they are in doing so, as so far it's like 2 ships passing in the night. So honestly, this is going to be really funny when they have that realization that they're both doing the same thing. The difference here is RAGNAROK is going to go straight for the main base, while ARMANI is going to try and whittle down the natural. I think overall ARMANI might get the better trade in that. If he can kind of shut down RAGNAROK here, he's going to get a pretty good lead just by taking down that hatchery. Thank you, Illusion, for the subscription. You are awesome, my man. Also, you are the god of Don't Fall as well. Yeah, here we go. RAGNAROK is gonna be backing off here. So, what did that accomplish for both sides? ARMANI lost 1 more Ling and 1 more drone, so this game is still super even. And yeah, neither side really got what they wanted to done. We still don't see Ling speed from either side. Still waiting on those Lings to get those wings. Because, again, they delayed their economy so hard. There's no gas, only just now being taken. And, yeah, it's going to be slow Ling fights. It's kind of like watching a fight at the old person's home, except this time the old person's home is just overloaded with bugs and cockroaches. Like RAGNAROK's going to be going up for those upgrades once again. We'll have to see if he does decide to go for roaches. We don't see a lair coming out of ARMANI, nor do we see that 3rd base just yet. So, going to be interested to see when he throws that down. Looks like we might be seeing a Ro4 come down. Yeah, there you have it. Roaches and the lair. RAGNAROK is going to get in here, and he does get a scout off of this. He sees that it is 2-base lair right now, and what that tells him is it could either be lings, roaches, or it could be, obviously, with those 4 gases, mutalisks. Looks like from the back of this, he's actually just going to go straight up to 4 gases himself, get that base a little bit more saturated. And, yeah, both sides are going for those roach upgrades, so I don't think they're going to be essentially... as I say that, I'm just going to end that thought there because ARMANI once again going to be going for the Spire Tech. And this will put a small bit of a timer once again on Ragnarok. Those roaches are pretty tanky, but once that muta count starts to kind of grow, expand, it becomes kind of difficult to move across the map here, even with that speed, just because you are getting kind of poked and prodded all the way there. So if you just get to like maybe 10 or so mutalisks, and from there kind of transition into a heavy roach-based army, you can really just win any fight very, very quickly by weakening your opponent before the main engagement ever starts. Actually, looks like Ragnarok's going to be going for a Spire of his own, so kind of just tit for tat here. Ragnarok obviously a little bit further behind in that, but he does have a much scarier roach army right now. As you can see, he's got double the supply there, and you know, he has a small bit of a window where he can kind of push this third base, which is in a much more exposed position down there on the low ground. And honestly, I think that'd be pretty good. Just go with the roach speed, try and push your way forward. And yeah, here we go. Now, Armani does have full wind of this, but doesn't really have a ton at home. We do see he's going to dump down 10 additional roaches here, but Ragnarok just going to back off for right now. We're going to lose a couple of those roaches to the retreat, so not ideal. And essentially his window has closed. From here, we're going to kind of slow down as both players just kind of power up, get into a better position, as I don't really think either side is going to be super aggressive with this, just because we do see those Corruptors out. So the Muta's not going to be able to get too much done. They're not going to be able to have that kind of free reign, although they are going to get a lot of this creep spread just decimated there. So a lot of the information for Ragnarok just completely denied for right now. Armani's gonna have to follow, or Ragnarok's gonna have to follow suit by getting rid of a lot of these overlords. He actually did not get that overlord, which is pretty funny. And now it's kind of hunt down the overlord season, as the Corruptor's going to try and get right on top of the Mutalisks, but they do barely escape here, just a little bit quicker, even though Corruptors are some pretty darn speedy boys these days. They're still not faster than those Mutalisks. And now we do see that I mean, Armani is still going heavily into the roach count here, just making sure that he stays safe versus anything that Ragnarok does on the ground. He's going to start losing some of those Mutalisks, so it's a good thing he hasn't really gone all in with them. But this has the potential for some huge damage here, as Ragnarok going to be coming in, taking a couple of those vials. Is both sides going to kind of eat the shots? While Ragnarok is forced back, he has a very good army supply here. We do have one roach in that Nidus Swarm, but that's not really going to do it for him, as the lair gets sniped. So overall, this is a huge win for Ragnarok, as the roach is going to be coming home to defend. Even with that second Nidus Swarm going to be coming up, it's not really going to be enough. Losing quite a bit of supply is Armani, so yeah, he's in a rough spot right now. He's gonna have to rely on his roaches back at home. Cheap tricks like the Nidus Swarm not gonna be enough to help him here. Good snipe on the fourth as well. Ragnarok going to be able to just dive right on top of this. 10 drones going down, and actually Oh my goodness, the other side of the Nidus Swarm actually just completes at the very right moment. Remember, if you lose both sides of the Nidus, then you essentially lose every single unit inside. They're trapped in the hole. But now we're in a sort of base race situation here. And I think essentially I favor... Yeah, I don't essentially favor. I favor Ragnarok heavily in this situation, as he's already cleaned up all of the tech structures. As you're pointing out there, Bitterwood, the Cthulhu Corruptors are going to get taken down, so that's not ideal. But with no bases left, what do we actually have left for Armani here? Not a lot. He's about to get revealed. The only buildings that he has is the Spore Crawlers and the Nidus Swarm in the back.
Your forces are under attack.
It looks like Ragnarok's using the Diva skin. Okay, so yeah, from here, Ragnarok's just got to really dive in at some point and kind of just break this position. We do see the both sides kind of changing where they are on the maps. If both sides lose all structures, then we have to do it all over again. So the Mito's just going to try and dive on top of this here. They're on top of the roaches, so those biles have the potential to do quite a bit of work, accidentally, honestly. And yeah, now Armani's a bit supply block, so that's going to help. Like, that is going to be... Ragnarok's still in the best position here, I feel. He just has to get up that ramp, which is going to be really hard. He's diving right on top of here. More Ravagers in the back, but it looks like Ragnarok has more than enough to kind of push his way through. A couple vials being taken in stride. Yeah, with this army going down, we're going to see the equalizer. Drone's going to be pulled to no avail, and there you have it. First map was Death Aura. So Death Aura, Light Shade. Next up is going to be Pillars of Gold. So overall, it's just an amazing series right now. It shows how equal these two are because they've both made a game look super easy versus the other one. Like Ragnarok, although he did get into that base race situation by not noticing the Nidus Swarm, he still was just in stride there. You know, he knew what he had to do. He just dived on top of them, and he kept a couple of those really important drones alive, which is the most important thing. So overall, he was just favored in that the entire way through. Now we're just waiting for game number 3 to start here. I'm actually not in control of the lobby this time. I am hands-free today. We get some okay. So top right into it once again for the dragon. Spawning up here in the top, he is Alpha X's Ragnarok. Going for a cheeky little move there. Going to get himself a little bit more. And spawning down here in the bottom for the Afrika Freaks, he is Armani. Although he doesn't have a cool clan tag like we do. Hashtag shameless plug on that clan tag. So it looks like these two are going to be going back into a bit more of a standard game. Not going to go for any early game shenanigans to start things off. This still has the potential to do to kind of be transitioned into the two-base aggression, maybe with lings, maybe with a ton of bangs to try and overwhelm your opponent early on. But I don't think that's really going to be in the cards here, as the winner of this game does go up to match point. So we might be seeing a bit more conservative play from these guys, although I am loving the heavy aggression that both sides have been showing. As it means we got those quick games, those really fun back and forth kind of brawls that make ZVZ so fun. Still kind of waiting on some sort of variation, some sort of deviation. Right now, both these guys just equal in every single regard. I mean, it's literally, when they say mirror matchup, it is mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the most even of them all? Yeah, both of guys go, and there we have it. We're gonna see that Baneling Nest being dropped. We don't see really any lings out just yet. They're kind of banking up those larvae for right now. But with the addition of the Baneling Nest, this kind of tells me that both sides want to be a little bit more aggressive here. Now, this has not been scouted by really anyone. So neither side knows that it's going to be Banelings, but we're going to see the addition here from Armani with that Evo chamber in the front. Now, like I was saying before, Carapace, really good for making it so that it takes 2 Bane shots to kill your Lings. So it gives you a little bit more leeway in those fights. But that +1 attack, just so powerful behind it, because it just makes your Lings absolutely shred through your opponent. So just a couple of different ways you can get it done there. And yeah, it's just really cool to see these kind of more aggressive strategies here, as we do see Armani going to be going up to the Roach Warren behind this, and RAGNAROK joining suit. So I guess this was defensive. Very interesting. I would kind of laugh a little bit if we did see that Baneling being wasted on one of those Lings, just a scouting Ling in the middle. Because you really do have to pay attention when you only have a couple of Banelings there, because they will get into trouble very, very quickly there. And yeah, that's kind of what I mean. It's like a child. You really do have to babysit it. These didn't actually have Carapace yet, but Armani taking that fight rather aggressively here. And this is where he smells that blood in the water, as he's going to be moving in here, trying to get a little bit more done. He's got 20 more Lings on the production tab with his no roaches just yet, but oh man, he was able to get some really good damage done there, and he's not going to stop, as he's got those Banelings morphing on in. Couple of roaches as well to try and push the front, and it's really on RAGNAROK to defend this location right now. Is he going to be able to, is the big question. division on the forces right now. The Spine Crawler's not morphed in just yet, so Armani going to dive right on top of those. A little bit of a lead here in terms of those upgrades, as that Carapace once again just showing how powerful it is. Now Ragnarok should be able to clean this up with the defender's advantage, just the additional roaches coming on in. But yeah, still, I mean, that was a really good engagement there from Armani. He didn't really lose a ton, and he forced out so many additional roaches there. If we kind of take a look at that. I mean, he's not done just yet. He's got a lot more lings here, so he was kind of hoping on those banelings being enough to kind of push his way forward. He will get a couple of good surrounds to try and push this back, but there's only these 5 Ravagers, and actually Ragnarok is just going to take it from there. Armani fell a little bit too far behind. So good game there. Yeah, he kind of he overextended. He kind of thought a little bit too highly of that last attack. But next up is we're gonna go into Oxide for our next map. I gotta say, a lot of these maps kind of feel pretty similar to each other. Not so much in a bad way, but I feel like a lot of the times they do play out roughly the same in these kind of matchups. Like, we don't really see too much variation with them. But with this one has that little bit of a longer attack route just in the early game. It takes a while to break down the rocks, especially with lings, since they don't, their tiny little teeth, they can't really bite through rock, but they still do their best because they're kind of told to with those overridden hive mind status. Yeah, that was pretty sudden, but he did put all his eggs into that one big attack with the lings. He just really wasn't able to break his way forward. And yeah, we're gonna see the trend continue here. So how about we skip the niceties and we get to the introduction. Spawning down here in the bottom position, representing the Dragon and Alpha X, he is Ragnarok. And his opponent up here in the top, he is the Afrika Freaks Armani. Okay. So, once again, pretty standard. It's kind of funny because on this map, just on the mini map down here, it really looks like these two bases are put in the wrong position, but they're not, and really just giving me a little OCD here. As we see both sides again, just even up. Neither side really gonna go for that early game advantage. No real point here, as the attack route's a little bit further away, so they're gonna kind of just power up. If they want to go for that kind of 2-base aggression, I would understand, but we'll have to wait and kind of see what happens here. Basically, Armani went for a very large attack sushi. with pure Ling, but Ragnarok just had way too many roaches in the back. He was about to go for a big aggressive push of his own, and yeah, he saw the writing on the wall and just tapped out immediately. All right, so Armani's going to be the first one to kind of throw down a little bit of variation here as he's got that Bailey nest coming up. We did see that in the last game, but it was a bit more defensive, I'd like to say. Kind of just smelling that blood in the water early on. Changed things up a bit, but yeah, he's not going to be too aggressive with this as Ragnarok is going straight up to the roaches. Not going to waste any more time here. As, you know, we all know how this is going to go. There's going to be roaches at some point in this map. And you know, Ragnarok's going for a bit of a cheeky play here. He's got a lot of lings that have been scouted. I don't think the Baileys are actually going to be done in time here, but Ragnarok's going to jump right on top of this base, and look how fast they just dive right on top of it. Is he going to have enough to finish things off here? Looks like he just barely has enough. Literally 2 lings getting out of there. So epic damage there from Ragnarok. And now, with the addition of the roaches, we don't really see an answer here for Armani. He might feel a little bit compelled to go for a counterattack, try and take down the third base himself. But again, the roaches pop, and now any chance for damage that you have is gone. Armani is going to get some roaches of his own. He will have that upgrade advantage in a little bit, but still, he's going to do the exact same thing as last game, try and push the issue a little bit quicker than he feels Ragnarok is ready for, but Ragnarok still just has a overwhelming army supply advantage right now in these roaches, so that you're not really going to get too much done here. We do see that lair tech coming up as off the back of this as well. So we could be seeing him go up to Spire Tech once again. Sunlily casting on fire in the chat, so I don't know exactly what these spells do. But you're a wizard, Sunlily. A little bit out of position here, but he does have enough at home to kind of keep this back. And I mean, from here we have stabilized quite heavily. The spine crawlers kind of just morphing in a little bit prematurely. He was expecting that attack to come in, but you know, Ragnarok's not gonna overextend himself right now. He doesn't really want to throw it all away. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Getting a little bit of that creep highway coming down. Just trying to make him a little bit safer there, as we see the Overlord going to be popping in as well. Just some good scouting information from both sides. They see pretty much what they want to see, but there's not really too much else to see. You see the 4th base coming down for this side, and looks like Armani is positioning these lings very aggressively a lot of the time. Okay. No real point in doing so here, but once again, Armani going to be trying to come in here, get a surround on those Ravagers. Those are actually some pretty juicy targets for him. So now Armani, once again, he's going to have that +2 attack upgrade. Taking a look at kind of the unit count here. Jesus Christ, I don't even think +2 attack is going to be enough to deal with 41 roaches. As here we go, Ragnarok going to be going for a big fight here. Doesn't want to fight in these small choke points though, because there is a lot of potential for biles. But he will get a pretty clean kill on that 4th base, and just going to continue to press his advantage forward here. I mean, the Lynx doing their part. They're going to be picking off the reinforcements for Ragnarok so that he's not able to reinforce this attack, and now going to go for a counterattack as well with them trying to kill off the drones, kind of slow down this push, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here, as Ragnarok just really on top of things, pushing his way forward. The Bile is going to force himself back. But we do see this small drop going to be killing off a ton of drones as well. I don't think Armani was able to actually kill anything with that Ling run by either. Wow, okay, so Ragnarok just in full control of this game right now. You have it. Once again, he's maxed out. He's going for another push on the 4th. And although he tanks that bile right there, I don't think it really matters. The roach count in overwhelming numbers. A couple of those biles going to keep him back for the time being, but that is not going to be enough, as it looks like Ragnarok just really wants to close this game here and now. Did that Dropper Lord get taken down? It did indeed. Like he wasn't able to really get anything done in Ragnarok's space either. Yeah, 2 or 3 drones, but not worth writing home about. Just take a look at this units lost tab. Keep in mind this, like Ragnarok, he has lost more here. That +2 attack, I think that +2 attack is actually just what's been saving Armani for the time being. He's going to be going for these kind of cheeky shenanigans now. We have seen a ton of Overseers, however, just in all positions. So Ragnarok shouldn't really be caught off guard by this at any time. Looks like Ragnarok's going to try and get on top of things, get that Hive Tech up pretty soon. I think Infestors would actually be pretty cool to see as well. It's been a while since I've seen them in the Roach Wars, but that fungal growth just stunting those roaches, really a cool move to be had if he does decide to go for that route. But he's got the Spire in the back of it as well. So really he can kind of afford to trade out some of these roaches. There's a big engagement here, but Ragnarok does not have all of his forces, so he will be pushed back once again. But, you know, he is trying to kind of trade out these units a little bit just to make room for those Mulisks in the back. So I don't actually hate this for him right now. He's still completely maxed out. Now, if Armani catches wind of this, that's where it gets a little bit crazy, as he doesn't really have anything back at home, so it's going to kind of force him into this pushing situation. But both sides do have that Hydralisk Den completing as well for the Lurkers once that Hive Tech is finished. I mean, he does need to consolidate these units as well. The fight on the ground is not going to go super well for him. He just doesn't really have enough there. Actually just going to go on the retreat, not even going to try and take that fight. The Mutas, however, are going to be able to get right on top of these roaches and just do absolute carnage and chaos. Dancing around the bile is going to get on top of this as well. The small number of roaches just going to do what they can, but that is not going to be able to finish up. The Hydras, though, helping out a bit, but again, in small numbers, what are you going to do? And now behind this, RAGNAROK going to be able to go up to that lurker count. Just very aggressive, very hard to defeat. And ARMANI needs to consolidate those Hydras if he's going to fight this. I don't think this is essentially a killing move, but this is still really dicey here. You know what would be hilarious if we just saw all of those overlords go down? I think that would be pretty funny if RAGNAROK did decide to dive on top of that. And you know, he still has the potential to, but over here we did see those roaches jump up here. He does have some Vipers as well, trying to get himself into a better position. So he will be able to Parasitic Bomb down those Mutas if they do decide to come on home. But right now they're just going to take down the fourth base themselves as ARMANI. Gonna get a small surround. He does get a couple of decent biles, but the lurkers do start to burrow. And that is actually just going to force this back for right now. RAGNAROK going to dive right on top of it. And I mean, with ARMANI's supply just absolutely plummeting right now, the Muta's still fighting, still keeping those Hydras back so they're not with the main army. I really think from here, RAGNAROK has got himself into a winning position. How many lurkers does he actually have? He's got 7 of them. So with seven lurkers, he can really push his way forward anywhere he can. Only just now is ARMANI going to be adding on his own. And sorry, my voice is starting to crack a lot. I do not know why. Losing this base is going to be awful for him. A small tunneling attack right now as well. I mean, he's just kind of trading out these roaches. He does want to get some efficient engagements here. Going to go straight for the Ravagers on the pickoffs, but I don't know. He's giving ARMANI a lot of room to breathe. Like, essentially, while RAGNAROK's army hasn't really been touched in a long time, he's just not really getting the efficient trades that he needs. So ARMANI coming back into this, and it's actually almost equal supply here, all things considered. It's kind of funny because even Zergs have been struggling to deal with lurkers, so this once again comes down to kind of not really even a stalemate here, as Viper's going to be yoinking the lurkers forward. So I think we might be seeing ARMANI kind of just go for that slow victory, as the Nidus Swarm going to be coming in the backfield, just doing what they can, or RAGNAROK doing what he can to kind of push this game back into his favor. He's going to dive right on top of the lurkers. I don't know if that was really the best decision, as there's a good enough flank, and actually RAGNAROK just going to take the series in a 3.